Some investors have excellent timing, most do not. But if you were on the inside and knew what would happen before it does, you would probably have good foresight. Whether or not Soros knew a crash was coming, it seems like he had impeccable timing, doesn't it? Equities, in particular FANG stocks, had a spectacular rise up until this point, and there has certainly been some profit taking which was expected. Let's dig into what happened exactly. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. This video is going to be focused entirely on what George Soros and his company have done in the previous quarter. I have done similar videos talking about the Swiss National Bank. I've shown you the Bank of Norway. I've given you the details about all the major funds and what they have been doing. I've covered this for many other businesses as well, including RIT Capital, the Rothschild Company, and I will always be getting into new ones as they appear. I've been following this over the years, breaking down the detail because although it's in the past, it gives us an idea as to what these major corporations are doing at any given time. So, as I mentioned, we're getting this in the past. And the reason I say that is because these documents provide us with detail from the previous quarter. So we don't know what their current business is, but when they report to the government, they have to do so. We see that data because it is made public, and then we can see what they've been up to. This data right here is about George Soros and his company. I want to look into the details of that, so let's begin by taking a look at the 13F, the 13F. When you go to the SEC's website, they have all of the 13Fs here. The only issue with the 13F is that this is very difficult to read on their website, but I always include it in any one of these videos that I do because I need to show you the actual data. I'm not going to take a website's word for it. You're not going to take my word for it. You're going to go to the SEC's website and you're going to see it for yourself to confirm what I am saying is true. You will never actually believe me. Don't ever do that. Don't believe anybody. Always go to the source of the information and see it for yourself. Okay, so the issue with the site is that it's just terribly organized, but thankfully there are a few sites out there that take the 13Fs and they put it into a nice neat package that we can search. So that's what I've done today. This happens to be one of them. It's WhaleWisdom. Now you'll see Soros Fund Management LLC. Near the top here we get the top buys, the top sells, and the 13F holdings summary. A major sell-off in the ETF of the S&P 500. You could see that they're pulling out of the broad market. That's not a good sign if they believe that stocks were coming down in the following quarter. So we don't know exactly when that sell order was taking place, but we do know that this information comes as of September 30th, 2018. What they did throughout October and into November, we don't know yet. But of course, I'll bring that to you as soon as I have that information. The market value went from previously $6.2 billion to $4.5 billion. Now, while this is not the biggest fund in the world, in terms of percent, it was a significant drop-off from one quarter until the next. Looking at the details of what they bought, it seems as though they had been doing a lot more selling than buying this time around. One of the stocks they did buy looks to be Microsoft. So you'll go through here if you're interested, see the details. You could see what they bought, what they sold. I'll give you a couple sites to look through. Holdings Channel is another one of those. They give you the size. They give you all of the details. But one of the things about this was that it's not very organized enough. So we can go through a website like fintel.io and you can actually organize all of the different headings here, all of the columns, how you desire. So I chose to do this in terms of their value, and we could see that they sold off 87% in terms of the S&P 500 ETF. 87% of it. So that is a significant drop off right there. In terms of the portfolio, I believe it said it was about 8% of the total portfolio. But looking at this, it's not looking good. If you are George Soros, you are in the know and you're worried about what they're up to. When I look through this list, I see a lot of them that have completely sold off, 100% sell off in many of them, including AT&T. Looking through this list, I see JP Morgan selling off a significant amount here, 59%. And if I go through, Bank of America, significant drop there. Wells Fargo, and it's pretty much sells all around. Amazon, 26%. Netflix, 88%. Citigroup, and so on. Whether or not we're looking at this in terms of the total shares or total value, the point remains the same. George Soros and his company sold off a significant percentage of their portfolio in the quarter previous to this crash that happened in October. Perhaps it was profit taking. Perhaps it was a readjustment of the portfolio into other assets. All we know is the data that is provided in the 13F, and I could bring that to you. That information is public. What they're doing behind the scenes, I have no idea. What they're doing beyond the 13F, so for example, right now today, I don't know. But I can give you what is documented fact, and then you can make your judgments based on that. That's what I want to bring to you. The data, the information, that which you cannot refute. So I look at this and I have to understand that George Soros, to me, is somebody who is in the know. They're going to be able to deal with something before it happens because they have inside information. Now, maybe it's not secret whispers in their ear saying, hey, as soon as October 1st comes, the stock market is in a crash, now's the time. But obviously, an individual like this is having big meetings, big conversations with high-level people that are aware of certain details that might tip him off to thinking now is the time that we should be taking some profits. We had incredible rising up all throughout 2017, and 2018 was not as good, of course. For some stocks, though, it was very good. This allows them to be able to go in, look into the details, understand where they've made a profit, take some haircuts on the shares that they have, and so they can be able to readjust where they have their money, maybe in a safer asset, maybe keep it in cash, as some have suggested. That's not the topic of this video, but I just wanted to show you exactly what they're up to. So I will have all the links in the description. You can go under the sources. You can get the data if you need to, if you want to, it's there. Otherwise, you can go to a search engine and type in the name of the company that you want to look into and then 13F. If you type in that, you're going to get the details. It'll break it all down for you. And it is so important and so critical to understand not just what you see on CNBC or Bloomberg and looking at 200-day moving averages and 50-day moving averages. You need to know what the big boys are up to. You need to understand what they do as much as you can in order to get a glimpse, just a glimpse, as to what exactly is happening. This is not what George Soros' personal wealth is all about. It has nothing to do with his personal wealth. Then when I covered the video about the Rothschilds, this is the RIT Capital. It's not the Rothschilds themselves. The Rothschilds are a family. They're a banking dynasty. We don't know exactly what that particular Rothschild, whoever you're going to point the finger at, does with their money. But we know that they have a major corporation. A lot of people, obviously, with a name like Rothschild are going to be investing with them, trusting them. There's going to be a lot of money in there, a lot of well-connected, well-to-do people. And so when we see what they're doing, they have a lot of millionaires and billionaires investing with them. They want to keep their friends happy too. So that's just giving us just a small piece of the puzzle, of course, adding on top of that everything else we already know. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. If you found that informative, please give me a thumbs up. This is detail that you just don't get anywhere else, and I'm not sure why. We need to look into this, and people need to be sharing this, and this is the type of information that all of the alternative news should be talking about at least weekly, at the very least. So I'll end it there. Thank you for the support. If you want the financial education you were not taught in school, these 2 books have it all. You can get that at the link in the description below. If you're more interested in the audiobook version, you can get that at themoneygps.com.